That light is shining right up there. Remove. The ground is sitting on the holder, and right behind the holder is a screw. I believe I think it's a 10. Also, it's a hex. It's definitely a hex. So, same one that you use to take off the others. So definitely it's gonna be a challenge to get this out, and I'll be back. All right, so just my luck, you do have to take off, you're gonna have to move the fan. So first thing I did was take the air off, using the hex. I believe this one, don't recall the size, but you're gonna use the same thing to use to get this bolt. It wasn't on too tight. And then you just gotta work it. You see the elbow that I'm using, and just gotta work it and get it out. As you can see now, it released the top head of the pump. There's only one thing that's holding it in place, and now the pump is out. We have a little bit more water, let the water drip out, and now we gotta disconnect this pipe right here, and another one on top of the thermostat, one here, one on top, and then the thermostat's coming out. Okay, you see the clip, I push the clip up. Now it's just making its way out of here, and there's another one back up here, and then we parts that it holds onto. So I guess maybe it helps with noise, but this one doesn't come with it. Mostly comes just all metal pieces all around. And I believe these are the same, made by the same company. Came in the kit from FCP Euro, normally where I get my parts from. They're exactly the same. There's no difference between these two parts. They're exactly the same. There's no difference between the parts. From what I could tell, other than just tiny little rivets are different, but it's pretty much the same. Obviously the holes are in the same spot. These seem to be a better quality screw in comparison than the one from the OEM. They seem lighter. These are definitely heavier. If you could compare to the OEM, but if you could hear the way this bounce compared to, see, these are lighter. So I'm definitely gonna use these. And I believe these are one-time stretch tap screws. They have to be replaced. See, these sound more solid. And these are definitely much lighter. So I'm gonna go with these screws for the pump, and definitely continue with the installation. I hope the installation is a lot easier than taking these two out. These were very challenging. Not for the faint at heart, I would say. All right. For the backs, you could see. Hold on, let me see if I can get a little closer. It's hard to see. So one will go in this one, and then secure the temperature thermostat, secure the thermostat, and then work on putting the back piece to the thermostat that I was talking about before. So hopefully I'll be able to get it from back here and push it in, and then it should be secure with this and this, and hopefully it snaps on. Well, so far I put back this electrical connector. Like I said, I tighten in the back. Make sure that you are tightening on the metal on the pump piece, not on, like, it's not connected. What I did was I used two hands to go over and on this side and make sure there's like a groove. Look for that groove and sit one side on the groove, the other one will follow into the groove and it'll snap on. Pull on it a little bit to make sure that this is not able to come out. Again, we don't want to pull on it. Okay, it's not coming out. That's good. That means it's sitting in there. It's sitting in the groove. As long as it's sitting in a groove, and you could see the two metal ends, like one here, one metal end here, another metal end like right here. As long as you can see the two metal ends and it's sitting in a groove, you're good. Now we have to go and put the other screw back in here, right up here, and to put this ground in here, and then we're gonna reconnect the ground back over here. All right, by the pump, I have to reconnect the ground back over here. Remember, it came with a piece. Then you have to put the ground, connect that with the ground. So, all right, let's get started. All right, I don't know if you guys can see up there. Right there, it's sitting out flat. The knuckle is working, and yeah, make sure that it's sitting flat so that it secures the thermostat. And then from there, we gotta connect that little piece to hold the wire, and then connect the ground. I'm gonna connect the piece now. obviously you need 2 hands for this. So let me do this and I'll show you the results after. All right, so all right, so now I'm gonna get a zip tie and zip this together. All right, this is how I zip tied that together. As you can see, I'm moving it. It's not moving anywhere, which is good, but it still has the rubber for support, which is good. And plus, when the panel's on it, it's gonna hold it a little secure also. So that'll be good. Hopefully you guys like the way I zip tied it. All right, so now I'm put the cover on, and hopefully I don't have to take cover off to see if anything, or maybe I should just leave it like that to see if there's any leaks. Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll leave it like that, see if there's any leaks. I'm gonna put the fan back on, put the fan back on the car, and then go from there. All right, so the light is not too bright, but be sure that down here, that this groove, it falls into this groove, and also that down here, way down there, there's another one that, I don't see if you see the tab. Let me try to get my finger there. This tab right here falls in that groove, and it also lines up with the screw that will be here. You have to be very careful. Move this out the way over here and slowly guide it in. Do not, I will repeat, do not rush this, because you may, I would say, you don't want to pull one of these and more of the antifreeze start to take in those spaces of the air, the needle's gonna go down. So start filling it back up again and get this to stick back up. Once the bleeding process is over, you hear it stop completely. But be sure it stopped completely, because it'll stop for a little bit and then it'll start again. Sometimes it'll stop and it will go very softly, and then another time it'll stop, it'll be very aggressive. So make sure like let the time pass as it should. Give it another 5 minutes afterwards, after you've heard it stop, because sometimes it'll take a minute or two